We will transform the NATO response force and increase the number of our high readiness forces to well over 300,000.
President Biden has been clear that the United States will respond to the growing threat to Europe's security and stability. Our commitment to NATO, Article 5, and collective defense remains ironclad. As part of this commitment, and to be prepared for a range of contingencies, the United States will soon move additional forces to Romania, Poland, and Germany.
I expect it will make clear that allies consider Russia as the most significant and direct threat to our security.
NATO has officially put 300,000 troops into combat readiness. That is almost a 600% increase. Now's the time to pay attention because things are getting pretty serious. So let's go over some key points that you guys should know, and at the end I'll give you 3 things that you guys can expect and be ready for.
Said, if you want peace. Tonight, responding to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, involving more than 100,000 Russian troops, NATO is set to put a force of 300,000 on high alert, an unprecedented escalation, 7 times the current number. As a Roman general once said, if you want peace, prepare for war.
Welcome back to all the subs. If you're brand new here and you like up-to-date weekly news that affects us and how-to emergency survival videos, be sure to hit the notification bell so you guys stay up to date. Let's jump into this one. As you can see, I'm out here in the self-sufficient tiny house, which we'll have more videos on coming up soon. Like I said, 300,000 troops NATO has officially designated for combat readiness.
It has already begun. NATO has put 300,000 troops on high alert, 3 lakh soldiers. That should tell you something. NATO leaders are meeting in Madrid for a summit. They're taking a tougher line on Russia. They're also talking about the threat from China. 4 Pacific powers are attending this year's summit.
This constitutes the biggest overhaul of our collective defense and deterrence since the Cold War.
So you might be thinking, why is this all so important? Why is this all happening? Well, I can tell you that resources are getting thin. It most likely has to do with conflict over the resources. And we're talking about precious metals, agriculture, food, water. This is becoming a superpower conflict. It might just be that it's a war over the resources. And you guys may have heard of it, but there's talk of Russia possibly running low or running out of its conventional weapons. So what happens when Russia runs out of all these weapons they're using right now? They're sitting on about 1,000 to 2,000 low-yield nukes. Would Russia get the urge and feel the impulse to use those low-yield nukes because that's what it's coming down to? Or are they going to fold? What do you guys think? Put it in the comments down below. Would Russia fall upon their nukes or would they fold? So right now they're saying we're at a DEFCON 5 with nuclear war possibility. But we all know that we're closer to nuclear war than we've ever seen in a long time. And really, we're never going to really know what level we're on because we're going to be caught by surprise because they're not going to want to induce fear and have an uncontrollable situation. So everything's going to catch us by surprise if it comes down to that. And right now, Europe is experiencing an epic energy crisis. And did you know that our oil reserves are so far down, it's as low as it was in 1986? And some people think that Russia is calling a bluff on NATO, not thinking that the Western states will step it up on Article 5. Oh, they just threw 300,000 troops at the matter. So what message is that given to Russia? 300,000 troops coming from NATO. We're not backing down. How is Russia going to react to that?
But the West's response to Ukraine has Russia reacting, a kind of geopolitical tit for tat. NATO member Lithuania now openly threatened by the Kremlin for enforcing sanctions on supplies to a Russian enclave, Kaliningrad.
Is your view that the best form of defense is offense?
We are not offensive country. We don't want to attack anybody. But of course we understand very much those threats which are coming. And probably Nobody could understand the threats from Russia better than we.
Personally, if this is all real, I don't really see Russia as a back down type of country. Now, many economists and experts are predicting that this is the type of war that's going to go on for years. And here in a minute, I'm going to share with you guys the consequences that we will immediately see, the stuff that we can immediately expect. And also at the end of this video, I'm going to leave this video up here for any of you that are new, that need a guideline on the really informative top 20 list of prepping stuff you should be prepping now. $40 billion support package going to Ukraine. Even Canada has supported by sending almost $2 billion and now donating $100 million with terms of an additional $400 million to follow. And we've already sent almost 11,000 American troops, according to the CSIS report almost a month ago. And we're sending more now.
With a growing military standoff sparked by the crisis on Ukraine's border with Russia, US President Joe Biden is ordering the Pentagon to deploy additional troops to Eastern Europe. 2,000 American soldiers will head to Poland and Germany, and 1,000 will be repositioned to Romania. The US and NATO already have tens of thousands of troops, of course, in Europe.
NATO dumping 300,000 deployed combat readiness troops, billions and billions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of troops, and an insane amount of military support coming from the whole world. But the thing is Germany needs to operate. Europe needs to operate. They are running out of their energy resources. So we continue sending them our fuel, our resources, because they need help. The crazy thing is it's gonna get a lot worse. So one word comes to many people's mind: expensive. Who pays for it? We do. Big question is, what is to expect and how is it gonna affect us? So here are 3 ways to expect it to affect us. Number 1, expect prices to continue to soar. Experts are predicting a major price hike very soon. Some are saying as little as in 1 week. Like I said, fuel resources are at a very low spot, as low as it was in 1986. Number 2, expect fuel rationing and very high prices. You thought prices were bad now? Expect it to get worse very soon. So if you guys haven't started rationing fuel, putting together a plan on when we're gonna go to town, when we're gonna get this, when we're gonna get that, compile it all together to save on fuel costs, you wanna start planning now. Number 3, tax hikes. Tax will go up, so this will add to the already high inflation. Expect everything to cost more. When you thought taxes were already high enough, they're gonna go up. They have to support all this. So brace yourself. And like I said, if you're brand new here and you need help with a prepping list, this one right here will definitely help you get started. And if you're already prepping, check it, make sure you're not missing anything. It's a video on 20 things you should prep now. Remember guys, keep prepping, keep learning and keep doing. We'll see you guys on the next one.